White judge finds black woman, only to learn. She's a National Geographic explorer, Part 1. Judge William Marsh sat in his courtroom on a Tuesday morning. The wood panels shined from years of polish. His black robe felt heavy on his shoulders. After 20 years on the bench, people called him fair but strict. Some whispered he was too cold. "Next case," he called out in his deep voice. The clerk spoke up. "Case number 247, parking violation in Oakwood Forest Reserve." A woman walked up to the front. She wore simple clothes, dark trousers and a white shirt with the sleeves rolled up. Her camera bag hung from one shoulder. Her boots looked worn from many walks in rough places. "Name?" asked Judge Marsh without looking up from his papers. "Olivia Bennett, sir," she said. Her voice was calm and clear. Judge Marsh finally looked up. "Ms. Bennett, you parked your car in a protected area of Oakwood Forest. The signs clearly say no parking. This area is home to rare plants that need protection. What do you have to say?" Olivia stood tall. "Your Honor, I understand the importance of protecting these areas. I was there to—" Judge Marsh held up his hand to stop her. "The rules are clear, Ms. Bennett. Everyone must follow them, no matter their reason. But sir, I had special permission to—" "That will be enough," he cut in. "The fine is $750. Pay at the desk on your way out." Olivia's eyes showed a flash of hurt, but she kept her head high. She had faced this kind of treatment before. People who saw her skin color first and nothing else. "Yes, Your Honor," she said quietly. As she turned to leave, Judge Marsh was already looking at the next case file. He missed the small badge pinned to her bag, a golden compass symbol of the National Geographic Society. 2 weeks passed. Judge Marsh sat in his favorite chair at home. Outside, rain fell softly on his garden. He picked up the latest National Geographic magazine from his coffee table. He had read every issue since he was 10 years old. He turned the pages slowly, enjoying the beautiful photos from around the world. Then he stopped. His heart beat faster. There on page 23 was a stunning photo of a night-blooming flower that only grows in Oakwood Forest. The colors seemed to glow on the page. Below the photo was a name. Photographed by Olivia Bennett, National Geographic explorer. Judge Marsh nearly dropped his teacup. The same Olivia Bennett he had found without really listening to her. He read the small story next to the photo. Renowned botanist and photographer Olivia Bennett spent 3 months tracking the rare night orchid of Oakwood Forest. Her work has helped create new protection plans for this endangered species. That night, Judge Marsh could not sleep. He kept thinking about how quickly he had judged her, how he hadn't even given her a chance to explain. Had he done this before? How many others had he failed to really see? The next morning, he pulled her case file. There, attached to the back page, was her official permit to park in the research area of the forest, a permit he had never bothered to look at. For the first time in 20 years, Judge William Marsh felt truly ashamed of himself. The end. White judge finds black woman, only to learn. She's a National Geographic explorer, Part 2. Judge William Marsh sat in his office early the next morning. The usual stack of case files waited on his desk, but he couldn't focus on them. His mind kept returning to Olivia Bennett and his mistake. He picked up the phone and called the court clerk. "Mary, could you find a contact number for Olivia Bennett from last week's cases?" After an hour of calls, he finally had her email address. His fingers hovered over the keyboard as he tried to find the right words. How does one apologize for such a failure? In the end, he wrote simply, "Ms. Bennett, I have realized my error in your case regarding the Oakwood Forest parking violation. I would like to speak with you if you are willing. Judge William Marsh." 3 days passed with no answer. On the 4th day, his office phone rang. Judge Marsh speaking. "Hello, this is Olivia Bennett." Her voice was calm, just as it had been, in court. "Ms. Bennett, thank you for calling. I owe you an apology. I failed to review your permits and didn't allow you to explain." A moment of silence passed before she spoke. "May I ask what changed your mind?" "I saw your work in National Geographic, but more importantly, I realized I hadn't truly seen you in my courtroom." Olivia agreed to meet him at a small tea shop near the university where she sometimes taught classes. The next day, Judge Marsh arrived early. He felt nervous, like a schoolboy waiting to be scolded. The bell above the door jingled, and Olivia walked in. Today she wore a simple blue dress and her hair was tied back. She carried the same camera bag. "Thank you for meeting me," he said, standing as she approached. "I admit I was curious," she replied, sitting across from him. They ordered tea, and an awkward silence fell between them. "I've brought something to show you," Olivia said finally. She pulled out a thick folder from her bag. "This is my research permit, signed by the Forest Service. It allows me to park in restricted areas while documenting endangered plant species." "Judge," Marsh nodded. "I found the copy in your file. I should have looked at it during your hearing." "May I ask you something, Judge Marsh? Why didn't you?" The question hung in the air. William Marsh had asked himself the same thing many times over the past week. "I think," he said slowly, "I've been on the bench so long that I stopped seeing people. I started seeing only cases, numbers, rules broken." He paused. "But perhaps that's not the whole truth." Olivia watched him carefully, waiting. "Perhaps I also made assumptions about you that I wouldn't have made about others." "I'm not proud of that." Olivia nodded. "Do you know how many times I've been stopped while working? How many times I've had to show my credentials when others don't?" William looked down at his tea. "I imagine too many to count." "Yes," she said, simply. They sat in silence again, but it felt different now. Less tense, more thoughtful. "Would you tell me about your work?" William asked finally. Olivia's eyes lit up. She opened her laptop and showed him photographs of tiny flowers that only bloom at night, of moss patterns that had never been documented before. "The forest is full of stories most people never see," she said. "Each plant has adapted in amazing ways to survive." As she spoke, William realized how much richer the world was than the narrow view from his bench. How many stories had he missed by not truly listening? "The fine has been canceled," he said when she finished. "But I feel I owe you more than that." Olivia studied him for a moment. "Perhaps there is something you could do." The end. White judge fines black woman, only to learn. She's a National Geographic explorer. Part 3. "Perhaps there is something you could do," Olivia said, stirring her tea. "Have you ever been to Oakwood Forest?" Judge William Marsh shook his head. "I've lived near it all my life, but I've only seen it from the road." "Then that's where we should start." The following Saturday morning, William met Olivia at the forest entrance. He wore walking boots and clothes more casual than anyone at court would recognize. Olivia carried her camera and a small backpack. "Most people walk the main paths and never see what makes this place special," she explained as they set off. "Today we're going to look closer." They walked slowly, with Olivia stopping often to point out things William would have missed. A tiny red mushroom hiding under a leaf, moss growing in the shape of stars, the tracks of a fox family. "Here," she said, stopping at a fallen tree. "Look under the bark." William bent down and carefully lifted a piece of loose bark. Underneath, hundreds of tiny insects moved about their business. "A whole world," he whispered. "Yes," Olivia nodded, "and most people never see it because they don't take time to look." They continued deeper into the forest, away from the paths. William felt lost, but Olivia moved with confidence. "How do you know where you're going?" he asked. "I watch for signs," she replied. "The way moss grows on one side of trees, how the ground feels underfoot, which plants grow where." She smiled. "It's like your courtroom. There are patterns if you know how to look." After an hour, they reached a small clearing. Olivia spread a blanket on the ground and they sat. The forest sound surrounded them. Birds calling, leaves rustling, the distant sound of running water. "Why did you become a judge?" Olivia asked suddenly. William thought for a moment. "I wanted to help people, to make things fair." He sighed. "Somewhere along the way, I think I forgot that." "It happens to many people," Olivia said. "We start with big dreams, then get caught in daily routines." "What about you?" How did you become a National Geographic explorer? Olivia's face lit up. My grandfather was a gardener. He taught me to notice small things, how plants grow toward light, how they heal themselves. When I was 10, he gave me my first camera. She patted her bag. Not this one, of course. A simple one. But it changed how I saw the world. Were there many others like you in your field? William asked carefully. Not many, Olivia admitted. I often feel like that fallen tree we saw, new life growing where others might see only decay. They ate the sandwiches Olivia had packed and talked more. William learned about her struggles through university, how she had worked 3 jobs to pay for her first professional camera, how many times her research proposals were rejected before National Geographic finally noticed her work. As afternoon light filtered through the trees, Olivia led them to a small brook. The water ran clear over smooth stones. I come here to think, she said. Water always finds its way forward no matter what stands in its path. William watched the brook, thinking about his own path. How had he become so rigid, so quick to judge? I've been thinking about what you said, he told her, about owing you more than canceling the fine. And I'd like to start a program at the courthouse, something to help judges see beyond first impressions. Olivia nodded slowly. That could be valuable, but it would need to be more than just talk. I know, William said. That's why I need your help. The end. White judge finds black woman, only to learn. She's a National Geographic explorer, Part 4. 2 weeks after their forest walk, William and Olivia sat in the judge's office at the courthouse. Papers covered his desk, research articles, training materials, and letters of support. The Chief Justice has approved our program, William said, his voice excited in a way it hadn't been for years. We can start next month. Olivia smiled. That's wonderful news. Have you thought about what to call it? I was thinking beyond first glance. Simple but true to our purpose. The program they had designed together would bring judges into contact with people they might never meet in their daily lives. Scientists like Olivia, but also community workers, former prisoners who had turned their lives around, and young people from struggling neighborhoods. Each would share their stories and the times they had been misjudged. I spoke with Dr. Thomas from the university, Olivia said. He's willing to help measure if the program changes how judges make decisions. William nodded. Good. We need to know if it really works. A knock came at the door and Mary, the court clerk, peeked in. Judge Marsh, your next case starts in 5 minutes. As Olivia gathered her things to leave, William touched her arm lightly. Would you like to watch from the gallery? It's a simple case, but... He hesitated. I'd value your thoughts afterward. Olivia nodded and followed him to the courtroom. From her seat in the back row, she watched as William handled a case about a young man who had been caught fishing without a license. In the past, William might have simply issued the standard fine without asking questions. Today, he was different. Mr. Parker, can you tell me why you were fishing that day? William asked. The young man, barely 20, looked nervous. My mum's been sick, sir. She lost her job last month. I was trying to catch something for dinner. William didn't rush to judgment. He asked more questions, learning that the young man was the oldest of 4 children and had left school to help support his family. Mr. Parker, the law exists to protect our rivers and fish populations. However, I believe justice must consider all circumstances. William paused. Instead of a fine, I'm ordering 20 hours of community service with the River Conservation Trust. They'll teach you proper fishing methods, and you'll help clean the riverbanks. When completed, they'll provide you with a proper fishing license. The young man's face showed surprise, then relief. Thank you, Your Honor. After court finished, Olivia met William in his chambers. That was different from what I saw when I stood before you, she said. William nodded. I'm trying to see the whole story now, not just the broken rule. It's a good start, Olivia agreed. That evening, they met again at a small restaurant to continue planning their program. As they ate, William told Olivia about his childhood, growing up with strict parents who saw the world in black and white. Rules were everything in our house, he explained. Breaking them meant punishment. No, matter the reason. That shapes how you see the world, Olivia said. My grandfather was different. He taught me that understanding why something happens is as important as what happens. William thought about this. In law school, they taught us to be objective, to focus only on facts, but facts without context aren't the whole truth, are they? No, Olivia said softly. They're not. As they left the restaurant, rain began to fall. William opened his umbrella and offered to walk Olivia to her car. Our program launches next month, he said. But I feel like my own training has already begun. Olivia smiled up at him through the rain. Learning never really ends, does it? That's what makes life interesting. The end. White judge finds black woman, only to learn. She's a National Geographic explorer, Part 5. 6 months passed. The autumn. Leaves fell on Oakwood Forest as Olivia led a new group through the trees. Behind her walked 15 judges in casual clothes, their faces showing wonder as they discovered the forest for the first time. Remember to look down as well as up, Olivia called. Some of the most amazing things are at your feet. Among the group, William smiled. The Beyond First Glance program had grown beyond their hopes. What started with just 5 judges from his courthouse now included people from across the country. Today was the Forest Walk. Tomorrow they would meet with community members to hear their stories. William hung back, watching his colleagues discover what he had learned that first day with Olivia. Judge Helen Barnes, known for her tough sentences, was on her knees examining a cluster of tiny mushrooms. Judge Robert Phillips, who rarely smiled in court, laughed as a squirrel darted past him. It's working, isn't it? Olivia said, dropping back to walk beside William. Better than I imagined, he admitted. Helen told me yesterday that she started asking more questions in her courtroom, and the data from Dr. Thomas shows that judges who complete our program are giving more community service and fewer fines, especially for first offenders. They walked in comfortable silence for a while. Their friendship had deepened over the months of working together. William had learned to slow down, to look more carefully at the world and the people in it. Olivia had found a new purpose for her work beyond just taking photographs. That evening, after the judges had gone back to their hotel, William and Olivia sat by a small fire outside her cabin at the edge of the forest. I have some news, Olivia said, poking the fire with a stick. National Geographic wants me to lead an expedition to document endangered plants in the Amazon. William felt his heart sink. That's a great honor. When would you leave? Next month. I'd be gone for 6 months. William nodded slowly. The program will miss you. Just the program? Olivia asked softly. William looked up to meet her eyes. No, not just the program. In the firelight, they talked about their unlikely friendship, how a mistake and an apology had changed both their lives. I've been thinking, Olivia said. The Amazon project needs a documentary filmmaker, someone to record not just the plants, but the story of why they matter. William raised an eyebrow. And you have someone in mind? She nodded. You've become good at seeing what others miss. William laughed, then realized she was serious. But I'm a judge. I have cases, responsibilities. You could take a sabbatical. 6 months to see the world differently. Then bring that perspective back to your courtroom. The idea seemed impossible at first, yet as they talked into the night, it began to take shape as something real. 1 year later, William stood in his courtroom. On the wall hung a photograph of Olivia standing next to an enormous Amazon lily, with William's reflection visible in the water beside it. Below the photograph, a small plaque read, "Justice sees the whole story." The courtroom looked the same, but William was changed. His time in the Amazon had taught him how interconnected all living things are, how each had its place and purpose. He brought this understanding to each case now, looking beyond the surface to find the deeper truth. And when Olivia returned from her next expedition, he would have new stories to share with her, of people whose lives had changed because someone finally took the time to truly see them. The end.